Well, hi, everybody. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I have a real special guest for us today. I'm excited for you to know more about Nickie Chan, who is an amazing, amazing senior presidential director with Lifewave. And she also happens to be my personal mentor and obviously our team lead that I have a high regard for and respect very immensely. So I'm so happy to have Nickie here with us today. We won't be doing our usual product review. I'm doing a few series on talking to individuals that are with Lifewave, team members, brand partners that have had, testimonials to share and personal experiences. So today we're going to dive into Nickie's 13 years with Lifewave. And she's one of the originals, I like to say, with the company. And what I love so much about Nickie, and I have so many things I love about Nickie, but the thing that's really the most exciting is, she has a personal relationship and friendship with our founder and CEO, David Schmidt, of this incredible wearable technology company called Lifewave. And that makes it really even more special being on this team that we call Team in Motion, because Nickie definitely has some inside scoop and information about the history of David and where he's come from, where we are going. And it's always fun to kind of get to hear that from her and her delightful partner, Larry. So before we get started, and Nickie has her story to tell us, I want to do a little bragging about Nickie. I did this for Larry already a couple of weeks ago when I interviewed him, and I want to tell a little bit about how I got started here doing these live product reviews, and then also how I met Nickie and our history together, because it's actually quite interesting when I look back at it and where we've come to today together. So really briefly, I had talked to Nickie about earlier in this year, talked to her about getting information and education out there about the patches to the a greater audience, and also, potentially talking about the individual patches with our team and educating people and my experiences with them. Well, she came up with the solution of, I know that you're very passionate, Suzanne, as a health coach and as an educator, and you definitely love sharing about your eBooks, your poisons in the pantry. And to get those two in combination in conversation, it would be really good if you were to do some presentations and some product reviews representing our team. And I was obviously a little shocked and a little honored, of course, to have that opportunity, because I'm pretty comfortable in front of a screen, but certainly not in the technology department. So fast forward, a month or so of this discussion in February, I started this product review process. And I thank Nickie tremendously for that opportunity and her unwavering confidence in me, because really this has been a challenge for both of us in the very beginning. We have some funny stories we could tell you about just, getting our groove in of getting the lives up and running. But it has been probably single-handedly the best thing I've achieved this year for 2024. And so thank you, Nickie, for giving me that opportunity and having that belief in me. And to all of you that are continuing to follow and watch my YouTube channel, which has all of the recordings, but being with me pretty consistently every week that I do go live. So thank you for that. And that's how I got started here, by the way. So it was from our amazing team leader, Nickie Chan, who did this for us. The other thing I wanted to share briefly was that how I met Nickie was kind of a little bit of a crisis that I was in. In 2021 is when I basically started with Lifewave. Well, fast forward to the end of 2021, I was about a year into my year-long relationship with Lifewave and being in the company. And we were on a meeting, Thursday night training meeting with Nickie and a group of our team members. And somehow a conversation came up about how I'm doing in the business. And I said, well, they knew I was a health coach and wanted to know how things were going. And I said, well, it's going very well. Matter of fact, I'm not really having to do a whole lot of promoting. People are just kind of like coming to me from family, friends, and colleagues and wanting to know about the patches, what I'm wearing. So I was having really good luck signing people up, getting people involved, and seeing great results with my sister and my father primarily. At the time, my sister was having a fair amount of arthritic pain, and my father, who's 97, 98 at the time, was having macular degenerative disease symptoms. And so we started seeing some results there. But at the end of that first year, I was not I was still having some issues. Now, just full disclosure, I was a hot mess that year. A lot of emotional and physical issues that were going on. And it just happened to be the time in my life that this stuff was happening. And so while Nikki was, a little bit concerned, she said, let's go through your back office in that meeting. It was like a 7 o'clock to almost 9:30 p.m. meeting. And she said, let's look at what's going on in your back office. And much to her surprise and amazement, I had $1,000 sitting there in my account that needed to be retrieved before the year anniversary. And I didn't even know it. So that's how little I knew about the business, because I didn't really care so much about making money with Lifewave as much as helping people feel better, look better, relieve their symptoms. And so that's what I was busy doing. So thankfully to Nikki, we found out that I had this money sitting there waiting for me. So that was really quite amazing. But mostly that Nikki stayed with me for hours figuring this out. And she didn't know me at all. I think that was probably one of our first meetings in 2021, December, around that time frame. And I just really appreciated her dedication to helping me and her commitment and her patience. So again, there's two things, Nikki, that I love about you. I have one more. So that was interesting enough. And, I was able to retrieve my money. But about a month into it, I told my sponsor, John, that I was still having some issues with a 5-year skin rash that was on my face that I wasn't able to still eradicate. And I had brain fog really badly. And so I knew something was going on with my brain. I just didn't know how to patch for it because I was not experienced enough. So in comes the expert queen of patching, Nickie Chan. And John said, you need to talk to her. If anybody's going to help you with this, it's going to be Nickie. So of course I said, oh no, don't tell me I have to call Nickie. After what she just went through with me with my back office and information, retrieving money and all, I was like a little sheepish calling her. Well, of course, in Nickie's, generosity and infinite wisdom, was able to help me right away. And we certainly had a really wonderful experience, even though it was difficult, with a patching protocol that she had me do for my brain balancing. And it was a heck of a lot of patches I had to wear and a really challenging time with brain fog, remembering and doing all of that. And Nickie stayed with me for months on end there until I saw the results I needed. Now that was when I realized the power of these patches, because I saw it happen for me in less than 3 months, or around 3 to 4 months. I cleared my skin up. And I'd had this for 5 years, you guys, and I had toxic burden loads in my brain. And one of the conclusions, we didn't diagnose this, but one of the conclusions was I had aluminum in the brain. I do fly a lot, and there is a lot of controversy about flying. Definitely we get aluminum poisoning by flying in airplanes, and it's in the air we breathe and the environment we breathe. So my patch was carnosine, and carnosine does have some symptom relief for aluminum toxicity. And so that pretty much was a good conclusion that I was toxic burden loaded. So there you go. That was my experience with Nickie in 2021 and 22. Fast forward to her helping me here do these talks and developing a really, really lovely relationship. I adore Nickie. I adore everything about her. She's not only a smart and savvy woman, but she is so kind and generous and patient. And we are so honored to have her here with us today. And of course, for her to be our team lead along with Larry, navigating all the ups and downs with, running a business and being a leaders that they are. So Nickie, thank you so much, honey. I'm so happy to have you here. And I can't wait to talk to you about your journey.
Wow, Suzanne, I think I can sign off now. We're done with today's presentation.
I don't think so, but yeah, you're pretty amazing. I don't think you knew that about yourself. And your impact with my life, how much it's meant to me. So I'm honored to
Thank
have you,
you.
really.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Yeah,
You're
you're amazing yourself.
Oh, thanks. Thank
You
you. And
are.
as I said, as we like to say, it takes one to know one, right? Oh, and I did want to just laugh that it was such an honor to be able to spend quality time with you in October when we were at the Dallas convention. And my sister Brenda and I, who adore you and Larry both, it was such an honor to be able to take you to dinner at one of our favorite barbecue restaurants and then go shopping
That
at
was good.
yeah, the food was good. I dream about it, believe me, a Western shop, clothing and boots and hats. And we had so much fun together. And I hope you'll get, if anybody knows Nickie living close by her, have her pull out her blue suede shoes, her blue suede boots with tassel, with fringe that are so darn cute. And it was fun to be able to spoil you a little bit and thank you in person.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. All right. Well, let's get started. I guess, you've got a lot of things to share with us, but the most important thing I wanted to start out with, obviously was your backstory. You've been with Lifewave for 13 years now. And what I love most about it is you do know David personally. And I know you're going to weave in some of that information here today. But what is your backstory? Tell us a little bit about how you started and, how you got to where you are today. Let's get started.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I got started as from a phone call. Just like all of us from a phone call. A very good friend called me, talk about LifeWave, and I was bad. I literally did not want to pick up his phone until the New Year's Day of Chinese New Year's. He always call, wish me Happy New Year's, and I go, oh, if I don't pick up this phone call, it's gonna be bad. Somebody wish me luck for the whole year.
Yeah.
So I answered his call. Sure enough, he said, Nickie, you need to take a look at this. So we met, we'll look at it, and then that's when everything began. So when did I join LifeWave? I joined in February of 2012. And let me go ahead and go in why LifeWave for me. When I witnessed Paul was the person that introduced me to Lifewave. When I witnessed a patching demo, and Paul is a very funny guy. Before he patched anyone, he always pulled out this Ice Wave brochure, and then he had people read the first paragraph of the brochure. And the paragraph said, now I hear him so much when he did this, he go, the first paragraph said, put the pain patch on where it hurt, on the point of pain, and then you put the white patch at the 12 o'clock. And then this is the part that he emphasized so much. It said, if you don't feel pain reduced within 10 seconds, okay, and then you move the patch. So when I sat there listening to Paul, and I go, wow, 10 seconds. What works in 10 seconds?
Nothing.
Right. So immediately I go, okay, so this is the opportunities that I need to look into. And the reason for that too was because about maybe 25 years ago, somebody offered me an opportunity. That opportunities was to import cell phone to Vietnam. And 25 years ago, there's no cell phone in Vietnam. There's not even landline in Vietnam. If I need to call a friend or family members in Vietnam, we have to pre-arrange a time. And then they have to go to somewhere that do have a phone so that I can call in and they can pick up the call. So when someone offered me the opportunities of importing a cell phone to Vietnam, I look at this person and say, you're totally crazy. They don't even have a landline. What are we doing with cell phone? So I want to share with you these numbers, the opportunity that I lost. So a few years later in 2000, the subscribers were using cell phone back then in Vietnam was about 0.8 million. And then in 2005, you're looking at 7 million, 2008, 20 million subscribers. And then today, over 168 million subscribers. Can you imagine if 25 years ago, I jumped on this opportunity and I said, yes, I am in whatever you do. I want to invest into your business. I want to take a part of this. And if we just earn a couple dollars per cell phone, I am already multi-millionaire.
You wouldn't be
But
sitting
no,
here. You wouldn't be sitting here and I wouldn't know you. I'm so glad that didn't work out.
So yeah, so when I saw Lifeway, how fast it worked, I go, oh, this is something that I have to look into. I need to know more. Yeah,
Oh, good. All right. So you were prompted when you saw a good opportunity the next time you weren't going to wait. I love it. That's a great one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you became a senior presidential director at what time frame? You want to talk about that next, or did you just want to talk about?
Yeah, yeah. So it was actually very difficult. I saw the opportunity and I just love, the business part of it. I start doing some numbers, look up some internet and just the statistics, the numbers of how many people, how much money are being addressed in the pain and lack of sleep. The industry itself
Mhm.
was huge. So I go, wow, I want to jump onto this opportunity. I want to go patch everybody. I want to talk about pain relief. I want to, selenite, better sleep, and all that. Unfortunately, 13 years ago, it's different than today.
Mhm.
13 years ago, you talk about pain, people look at me, it's like, I'll just say, give me morphine. Give me some painkiller. I'm fine with it. Give me sleeping pill. Give me melatonin. Give me NyQuil. And I have somebody actually take NyQuil every night to go to sleep.
I know.
So that was the time. So it was very difficult. It took me a while. It took me about 7 years. So I joined in 2012, and X39 was launched in 2019. 2020 was when I got promoted to senior presidential director. But the first 7 years in Lifeway was very difficult for me.
Mhm.
Okay. It's just getting the patch out there, talking about the patches, talking about non-transdermal. And let me tell you a really funny story about non-transdermal. I patched this older lady, and the instructions said, you move the patches around, and I always carry a roll of tape and then patch outside of clothing. And this lady looked at me, and then she go, "You child, you don't know how to patch. This is what you do." And she just pick up the patch and peel off the packing and stick on her knee. I go, I'm supposed to do a demo. So they don't understand. Even my mom, it took me the longest time to explain to her that it doesn't have to be on your skins to work. So it was a very difficult time until X39 came about. And it just a few months after that, I got moved up to senior presidential directors because the industry changed.
Yeah, and on that note, the industry changed, but also the information had started changing. When the X39 came out in 2020, there was already rumbling and noise about quantum healing, where you can heal within and on your own. There's how there was a lot of light therapy that was already out there. I mean, I own a Beamer, a bioelectric magnetic regulating machine. There was already this pulse magnetic field that was already out there, people were healing from, but also the information was getting out wider and wider known about the harmful toxins in all of these products. Everybody was thinking was okay to do the NyQuil every night. Oh my goodness, full of chemicals. And so very interesting that I happened to start with Lifewave in 2020 as well, the December of 2020. And so really by 2021. So I started at a time where you could talk about how the X39 was activating the copper peptide, which was then helping your stem cells. So as soon as you said stem cells, people, their ears opened, because before, I would say 5 years prior to 2020, there was not a lot of discussion about it. Wouldn't you say? I mean, that was kind of starting at the beginning of people talking about it.
Yeah. But I
So,
have to say that because of COVID too, because
yeah,
of what happened. Yeah. And then people now are more aware with their health, with what they are taking, what they injecting, and the food
right.
they eat. So people are more health conscious today
Yes.
than 10, 13 years ago when I first started.
Right, right. And 10 or 13 years ago was when I started health coaching. And that's when I realized I didn't even know half the stuff as I told you, when I had my toxic burden load and you helped me in 2021, doctors were not addressing toxin loads. They were trying to address food. They kept saying, you need to eat nutritionally. You need to take all these supplements. You need to do all of this. But they weren't, all of that stuff was going in one hole and out the other because I wasn't absorbing it. And so that was the other part of it. If you can't, absorb and you can't heal if you're full of toxins. And that was one
Right.
thing about the patches too. When X39 came out, there's all this information around helping release toxins, helping to eliminate toxins were better. And so I think that was a big part of it too. Well, that's fascinating that, for you, the launch happened around probably when most people had the same experience, but you're going to share soon here how the other patches of the family prior to X39 were still miraculous. It was just hard to get people to wrap their head around the fact that they do what they do. So yeah, that's amazing. So your impression of, let's talk about David for just a minute. Tell us a little bit about, I know you know him personally, but you've seen the transformation. He's still the same man. He's amazing. How did that relationship impact your ability to support this product even more?
I think David, meeting him for the first time, talking to him in San Diego, sitting on the front row when he present. Um, my first immediate reactions of David was that he is so intelligent. So I
Mhm,
just like, okay, this man knows a lot of things
mhm.
to where I'm gonna share, don't laugh. um, I seriously think that David can read your mind. I just thought I just thought he is so smart, so intelligent that I was afraid to look at him face to face with eye contact because I thought this man's thinking is just out of this world. He
Oh,
might be
man.
thinking what I'm thinking. So it took me the first few years, I avoid eye contact with David. I mean, I go to San Diego office all the time. I'll see him. I have my little smile. I want a picture, and then I run away.
Oh my goodness. I would have never imagined that.
Yeah. So until I get to know him a little bit more, I just think that he is a man with lots of integrity.
Mhm.
He's very humble, very humble. His visions, not just for the company, but for the world. It just blow me, and I believe for yourself and everybody away of what he have planned, what he's doing for humanity.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and he is just a very, very gentleman. I just have 100%, 200, I don't know, 1,000% respect for him. Every time I don't feel good, listening to his webinar, even today he was on webinar and the replay is going to be another hour. Um, Absolutely love it. All these things that he shares, like I need to go back and listen again. He's just so smart. Yeah.
It's so inspirational too. You do, when you listen to him, it gives you hope for the greater good. And
Oh
you
yeah.
look at people like him and you want to emulate that. If we had him times, millions of people, which he's created, think about it, with our population around the world that are life waivers, that are using the product and also selling the product and representing it, sharing it. It's more about sharing. It truly is a movement. And that's what Nickie and I love so much about being, well, first of all, it's a big family. And we love that David, 20 years into the business, he's still the CEO, he's still the founder, he's still the creator of all these products. And his information is downloaded from God. I mean, he's a very spiritual man, and most of us that are spiritual beings ourselves, we all are, but really grew up with spirituality and understanding faith and having belief that there is a greater good, and that if we're all doing our purpose here on earth, that the planet would be a much healthier, happier place, that we are here for a reason, and he's here for a reason. Look at what he's doing for all of us. And what I love so much about it is he's still the authentic, original Lifewave. I was thinking about that today, where he came up with the name. I call it a lifeline. I say Lifewave is my lifeline. But I was thinking about how why he didn't call it Light Wave, or how did he come up with the Lifewave name? I don't think, do you know that? Do you know where that name came
Not
from?
sure.
Yeah, it's a clever name. It's a beautiful name, and it's so appropriate even today. You think about how progressive it is. It stayed really well for in his integrity for creating the X39, something that does all the work that it does. I know he's been playing. That was a dream of his forever. Well, thank you for sharing that about David, and I know that he has a real fondness for both you and Larry, and I love that part is that he still shows up for all of us. I mean, we had him on a
Mm.
call Monday night, a private call with our team, answering questions and talking to us and giving so many of us the opportunity to thank him personally for what these patches have done for us and our families. Most of this is, yes, we are so happy to be sharing with all of our community, but it's touched our families. That's what is the most amazing. Well, great.
That's what I love about Lifewave too.
Yeah.
I have no background in the medical field.
Yes.
Um, but for me to be out there helping people every day,
Yes.
that is something that I love to do, and Lifeway helped me accomplish that.
Yeah, Nikki, thank you for that too, because what it's done is it's David's knowledge as a health expert and food expert and wellness expert. He can talk about nutrition. He can stand up next to a nutritionist or doctor and have these amazing conversations because he is that knowledgeable and he's that he learns he's taught self-taught on a lot of this biology background too. So he's that scientist. He's got that creative mind, a brilliant mind. But he's created a family. What I find so fascinating with these direct sales companies, they start with one person. It's one person that starts this dream. And now we are worldwide. I just think that it's a movement for wellness that is guided by spirit and guided by look at the sunlight and what it does to our body for vitamin D. And it's the same concept, this phototherapy. So great story. There's David right there. First impression. Is he holding an award to give away, or was that something
That was an award given to him.
I
So yeah,
wondered?
yeah.
From who?
That was from this year to recognize him for being the humanitarian. That's the humanitarian award that we gave, yeah, the company and the
Oh, okay. Was that in 20? We just did that? That's a
yeah.
great picture. I must have stepped out because I don't remember that. I missed when he had his family up there too. I had to go. I was off doing something and I missed that because I did miss seeing his beautiful family up there on stage with him. So, okay. All right. So, what was my next question? We are going to talk now about okay, so we talked about David. So obviously, you told the story about how this was a financial freedom dream to find a company that you could grow with, and that's how it started out with you. But you jumped very quickly to learning it was much, much more than that. So we want to talk
That's
about,
correct.
yeah.
Yes. So at first it was the business. I saw the business opportunity that I didn't want to miss. But then later on, it was not just a business anymore. So I want to share with you two incidents that happened in my life that I know LiveWave is not a business, but it's a mission in life that I need to carry on. And the first one is actually Larry. So he was riding, this is him on his motorcycle journey with a group of bikers. He was out raising funds and having a good time. And that was not something new. He did that all the time. But something changed on that trip. Okay, something changed. The first thing was when he left the house, for some reason, I chased after him with the patches. And I told him, I said, take this with you, because we're trying to promote the patch and nobody listened to me. They thought I'm
Yes.
crazy talking about a non-transdermal patches that can work outside of clothing. So I told Larry, I said, hey, take this with you. Take it with you. All your bikers friends are older than you. Somebody gonna need these patches, either energies or pain or kind of sleep, just take it. So he go, okay, he just took the patches and just throw it in the back of his bike. And that was it. So that was, let me show you the next slide here. So things change. Okay, so the first thing, that I chased after him. The second thing was, I know he was on the trip. Nobody needed the patch. Nobody needed the patch. He had a good time on his way home. He fell. He was on this highway in the desert, and his bike somehow going to some sandy area, and his bike kind of like slide and go to the side, and his bike flip, just sink into the sand, where he throw his body up the air and then throw his bike up in the air, and he got injured with a handlebar puncture. His colon ruptures, his spleen, I think, broke into like 3, 4 different pieces. So he had a lot of internal bleeding. But here's the thing: when I find out that there was no signal where the accident was, and then there's this railroad employee with a portable two-way radio came by, and he was able to call into the station and ask someone to call an ambulance. Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, and then that was actually quite far away. The ambulance came from Baker, went to the desert, and then took him into Las Vegas. So you're looking at roughly, I would say, maybe 3 hours or more after he was down. But because because he had the patches, that makes it different. So number 3 that you're looking at, a truck drove by, towing a hauler behind it, and stopped. And this gentleman came out and offered to tow his bike back to San Diego for free.
Mm.
Okay. And then when Larry, he was down, when he regained conscious, he was in excruciating pain. He said that he felt like a knife was just kind of like poke. For some reason, it was his
Stabbing.
shoulder, his chest, as if a knife was kind of like twisting inside of him. He said that was how much pain he was in. And that right there, immediately, he remembered that I throw some patches in his bag. So that's when he asked the friends to look for the patches and start putting them on his body. He didn't know that by doing that, he bought himself some time to the hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then when I arrived to the hospital, I met with one of his biker's friend. His name is Pete. And Pete came to me and he said, Nickie, I am so glad that I don't have to apologize to you today. And I look at him and said, what do you mean? He said, I witnessed the whole accident. And I told myself, if Larry flew up the air and landed in front of him, he had no choice but just to run him over. But he said he he didn't know how. He went up and then he landed to the side. And then his bike went up, also landed to the side. And all the bike behind him continued riding. So when I heard that, I said, okay, I cannot be upset.
Yeah.
Okay, I cannot be upset that he went and bike and got into an accident and put me in a situations where I have to take care of him and on and on. I cannot be upset because it sounded to me as if something that his time was up.
Right.
When God calls you, you can sit at home and the light bulb falls on your head and it's time to go. It's time to go. But then he's using the patches to talk to us, to tell us there is something in this patch and don't give up. You need to look into this. You need to do something with this.
Wow.
Okay. So how coincident is that? I chased after him with a patch. Somebody from the railroad called in. A truck pulled came by and pulled his bike, and then the patch is there ready for him to use on himself. And then I have this conversations with Pete, and I said, okay, let's see how he healed.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he healed so quickly. He recovered so quickly. The bill at the hospital was outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't have insurance at that time. There was no mandatory health insurance at that time because he fell on his own. His bike insurance wouldn't cover.
Oh dear.
So the only medical bill that I didn't have to pay was medications, pain med, because that's what I did. because the person that shared with me these patches, he said, well, if he's not in pain,
Don't you?
Don't let them inject him with
Yeah.
morphine.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's what I did at the hospital. I
Yep.
make sure the nurse doesn't come in and inject morphine into him. So
Wow.
that was the first sign for me to look at Lifewave differently. And
Mhm.
the second one is this incident at Dallas airport. So I'm going to show you a video. You probably cannot hear the conversation, but I'm just going to share with you what happened. So I saw this lady. She was wheeled in by the one of the airport attendant, and she was in so much pain when she got up of her of the wheelchair. She just got up, and then her face, you can tell that she was just suffering, and she couldn't speak any English. And here I am trying to help her, and Larry pulled out his phone with translation and asked her if she was in pain. She said yes, and I told her I'm going to patch her. And what you're looking at was after I put an ice wave patch on her and she was walking. Larry asked her to walk and she walking without the cane.
Wow.
And take a look at this. She started
Oh my
dancing.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, that is so cute. What a beautiful story.
And then not only that she's dancing and she's hugging me and kissing me. I want you to take a look at the next second. Look at what she's doing.
Oh, oh, wow. She probably hadn't had relief in Lord knows how long. Wow.
So she's pointing up the sky as if God sent me to help her with her pain. And
Absolutely.
that is another sign that I told myself, you know what? Lifewave is more than just a business.
Yes.
And since then, whether people say no to us or reject us, it's okay because we have a mission to do.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about that story too, whether or not, you stayed in touch with her or whether or not she continued to use the patch, you gave her hope and you also gave her pain relief that, some people that are in that chronic pain, they don't even know what it feels like to not have pain anymore. And so what a beautiful story and for your gift to be able to do that. Did you put Ice Wave on her?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, what was funny about Ice Wave, and I just was going to mention this, was I remember somebody asking me if were they cold patches? Remember we were talking about like, how is this patch going on without being on the skin? And this person asked me, is that cold? Is it like an ice pack? And I said, well, I guess you can consider it's an iceless ice pack, and you don't have to put it in the freezer. You don't have to get wet with it and hurt with how the ice can hurt over time. So it's interesting how and this was prior to X39. This was a long time ago,
Yeah,
right?
that was a
Okay.
long time ago. That
Yeah.
must be maybe 10, about 9 years ago.
So, and that was the beautiful thing that you mentioned was it didn't even matter if she wanted to know more about it. You got such joy experiencing her pain relief and the gratitude that she felt towards you at that moment. And who knows, maybe she did something with them and never could find you again, but maybe she found somebody who could get the patches for her. What a great story. That's amazing. So that was when, like I told at the beginning of my story, I was so busy patching people and seeing relief that I didn't even care about that I had residual income coming in, bonus points just for sharing the product. And that's what this is about, isn't it, Nikki? Where you get so embroiled into helping people that at the end of the day, it isn't about the money. But it is so nice that a company like this, Nikki, can, like a David Schmidt, instead of taking it to big pharma, or taking it to the medical profession where they would they would mark this up and it would go through insurance. It would be a nightmare. He said, no, I don't want that to happen. I want people representing this product that really care about others and to share this product because he knew the value of it and the message of it. Again, another one of those movements. Well, great. Thank you for sharing that. That was incredible. All right. So now you've had, your experience with, we saw what happened. I had something I was going to ask you about Larry. To just briefly talk about, you didn't have any pictures of Larry.
No,
Not
not
this
there.
time. You can watch the video I did with Larry, the interview with him, and we have his pictures. But what is fascinating about that was Larry remembered you had already set the wheel in motion with him, saying, "Go and patch somebody." and do what you can with these patches. And in the end, what was such a great story was it ended up being his need. And he remembered that. And so you were his guardian angel. There you are again, being a guardian angel and being the wing woman for everybody. That he remembered that and that the patches didn't fly off into the desert and couldn't be found. Were they in his backpack on his motorcycle?
It was in the desert. They have to go look for it. Yeah, it was they go have to go look for it in when
Wow.
yeah, at that time the patches was in a very a dark color envelope.
Oh,
Um,
no.
so that's when he told his friend, they're in a different color envelopes. Can you just go look for it and bring it to me? Yeah, he still every time he saw the lady who found the patches and patched him, he thanked her. We met her again over maybe like 4 months ago.
Oh,
Um, yeah, he thanked her again for doing that little thing. And sometimes a little thing like putting a patches on someone save a person's life, and that's what that lady did.
yes.
Yeah,
And you're going to share with your experience what happened too, that it literally is a lifeline. I keep saying Lifewave is a lifeline, but it's like that lifeline that holds you until you can get the help you need because you can go into panic mode. Think about it. People have, they panic and then they pass out or they end up just, hyperventilating, whatever they can, the pain can be so excruciating. And this is buying time.
yeah,
It's really buying time to get you there. You have an injury like that, the patches aren't going to repair your spleen right then and there, but they're going to get you that time needed. And he had 3 or 4 hours. He could have died easily. Could have
he
been.
could. He could because of colon rupture. When you have colon rupture, and I still remember when the doctor called me, letting me know that after the MRI, they need to go in and operate him immediately. And
Uh-huh.
the doctor said, just to let you know, people can live without a spleen, people can
Right.
live without colon, but people cannot live with infection. And
Yes.
that was a concern. Yeah.
Right. So that's yeah, and I think that's the message here again and why on all of these product reviews that I've been doing and talking to anybody about in terms of interviewing them is how important these patches are to have them on you. That we call it our patch savior medicine cabinet. I call it my patch cabinet in a little pouch. I don't have it on me today, but the little pouch carrier where you have all of them in there for those emergencies, whether it's for you or for anybody you're with. And I don't travel without having an inventory, and I certainly am grateful when I've had it because I don't have the chiropractor with me. I don't have the doctor with me. I don't have the pain medication with me, and I don't take any anymore. But the point of it is you're always prepared. Great.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're going to tell a little bit about your own personal experience of we're not going to say Miss Accident Queen, Nikki Dev. We all have our accidents, but you've had a few nasty ones that you're going to share with us that have been again. And how many years after this with Larry did your first incident happen?
I have a lot of accidents.
Well, the ones you're going to show here, was it
I have a lot. So this one that I want to share with you, um, this one was about maybe 4 years into business.
That's
And
some
that
real.
was on a Saturday. My sister lost her key and we looked for her key. And I said, well, maybe you left your key in the car. So I
Mhm.
went out to the parking lot and then I was just look through the glass and I go, oh, your car is not even locked. So my face was looking inside the car and then I reached down and opened the door. And sure enough, the edge of the door just hit my head.
Oh dear.
It hurt so much. I screamed. I
Yeah.
ran inside the office and I screamed for patch. And then because we had a meeting in the office and this distributor, his name is Vin, and he said, no, 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 no patching, no patching. Picture first.
Oh, that's where you learned. That's where you learned. He taught you well. Oh,
So that's the picture that he
oh,
took. And you
yeah.
see this big bump on my forehead.
Huge.
So
That
my
is huge.
question for you, Suzanne, normally, let's say there's no patch, normally how long it takes someone with that bum for them to feel better?
Well, at least 2 weeks to a month, if not longer. I mean, that's a pretty intense bruise if you don't get the swelling down quickly. But
Yeah.
definitely longer than I don't know. I'm saying 2 weeks to a month. It just depends on how. That's a terrible area too. That's you don't have any fat there. So it's thin and it's excruciatingly painful. I don't know what happened.
So yeah, we put patches on, we put 3YH on immediately and the pain calms down. I thought I'll be having migraine for the next few days.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
my surprise, within 35 minutes,
Oh my God. That's amazing.
35 minutes, you
And it had
barely
gone
see the
down.
little bump. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I've had incidences where stuff healed like rapidly. That was again another like, oh my gosh, this stuff is great for accidents. X39. That was X39. I tried it on. This was which ones again? The
This
YH.
was at the YH.
Okay,
Yeah, this
the
was before
carnosine.
X39. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
inflammation reducing, pain relieving, and tissue repair.
yeah.
Ah, wow. Oh, that's
So that's one. I have so many other, but I'm just gonna share with you one more, which was my bicycle accident.
that's a big one.
So yeah, Larry had his motorcycle accident. I had my bicycle accident.
And he was able to kick into gear. Remember that was, but you remembered everything. Okay, so what happened? You're on your bike and you hit a curb, right, or something?
Yeah, so this was during lockdown.
Okay.
My one of the things that I want to do was to ride my bicycle down the strip on in Las Vegas because I just want to zigzag through all this building, take pictures. I know they are beautiful, but every time we go to Vegas, we never had a chance to visit all of the casino. We usually just stay on one and two and then go home.
Yeah.
So I told Larry, like, hey, nobody's there. Let's go. Let's drive to Vegas and bike. So he agreed. We went for our bike, and I was going really fast because there was no car. I had the blast. I had my the fun time, and then he was behind me hollering, saying, "Hey, get on the sidewalk, cars are coming." And I go, "Okay, fine, I'll get on the sidewalk." But guess what? I missed the driveway and I hit the curve.
Ay, ay.
So I hit the curve so hard, it threw my whole body up and I glide on the concrete about 3, 4 feet away. And the next thing I knew, first of all, I was embarrassed. Like, oh my God, what did
Of
I
course.
just do?
Yeah, of
And then
course.
after that, I couldn't even stand up. I sat down. I was like, okay, must
This
be bad. Yeah. And then when Larry come up, he looked at me and he was shaking.
yeah, the
I
look.
I couldn't tell how bad I was injured,
Yeah.
but by looking at him, I knew, like, okay, it must be really bad because he was shaking. It's like, okay, I don't know how to patch you.
Yeah.
So I basically put my hand out and then he just dumped all the patches on my hand. I just put my face just over the patches. And
Wow.
immediately I feel the coolness, that calmness just bring into me. And
Mhm.
then I go, okay, now I need to figure out how to patch. So I put patches next to my face, put on gloves because of COVID, we do have gloves in a bike. So put on glove and I put patches inside the glove. And
Oh,
I
wow.
have elbows, so my hand I couldn't do much, and then my elbow couldn't do much. So I was just kind of put patches on my knee that you're looking at. The artery actually popped.
Oh, yeah.
The blood was kind of like shooting out. Yeah. And then with that injury, I still have to bike back to the car
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because yeah, we were at almost toward the downtown of Las Vegas, and there was a lot of homeless in the area as well. So Larry said, "Well, stay." He'll go back to the car, bring the van, come pick me up. I said, "No," because we didn't know what COVID was at that time.
Yeah.
And I said, "If anybody approached me, I don't know. I can't defend myself."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I said, okay, it's better I bike, I follow you back to the van. So that's
Wow.
what I did. I had
Oh
to
my.
bike another 4 miles back to the
Wow.
car. It was just gliding. I couldn't bike. It's kind of like gliding back. Yeah.
And were you able to patch around? I see a picture of the knee afterwards, where it's cut and open. Is the one next to it when it was healing? Or was that just the
No, all those pictures are just, um,
injury?
yeah, just we took the pictures immediately after the accident. The one you saw before the knee, that was actually a bandage, a little gauze, and the blood just soaked through it. Yeah,
Wow.
it was, yeah.
So you had, the face, you had the knee, you had the arms, the hand, everything where you skidded across on the concrete. And then, you did you put anything in and around those areas, or was just your face calmed you down enough to get back on your bike?
Well, I
Just
have
what you
enough
did.
patch. You just kind of put one on each area just to kind
Okay.
of calm it down so that the throbbing pain wasn't as bad.
Oh, there you are,
Um,
with your bike in the background right there on that top one. I see now where that is.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pretty
And
amazing.
yeah, I landed so hard. My hand went down so hard. The diamond on my rings actually flew off.
Oh, that's
That's how hard
right.
I landed. And then of course my front teeth was also missing. I lost two front teeth.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And you found your
So
diamond though, right? Somebody found it?
oh, there's another story. So there's a story with the ring with the diamond. There's five diamond on the ring. My mom and I we handpicked those diamonds,
Wow.
and it was good memory for me. I go, oh my gosh, I can't lose this ring. So I told Larry we need to look for the diamond.
He's like,
He
no.
said man, there's no way that we can find the diamond. It's broken glass on the ground and in grass and glass, and it's like how are we gonna find it?
And you're injured. We have to get you back to the car. Yeah.
Yes, and then luckily, he had an appointment, a three-way conversation, a three-way phone call with Rick DeLuca and another guest. So it was prearranged that he had to pick up the call. So
Oh,
Rick called in and said, oh, I need to pick up this call. So he had to make it really quick. So while he was answering the call, I was holding the patches on my face and I was on the ground and I was just look, oh, that's my diamond. So I found the little diamond. And then I walk. It's funny how I found it. It's spread out about 4 feet area. So I was just walking on the floor, and oh, there's another diamond.
unbelievable that you
I
had
found all four of my diamonds.
that you were able to do that, so evidently the patching, you were getting some relief. Otherwise, you think you'd be in panic mode and to heck with it. Like Larry said, forget the diamonds. That's a beautiful story. That obviously, unfortunately, there came a lot of pain and recovery. How long did it take you were you like, I mean, obviously the teeth work was separate, but all of the injuries and stuff, you kept patching. And I would imagine within a month you were pretty, don't you have an after, you have an after? Oh yeah, you have to
No,
finish that
actually,
story.
let me show you this.
Yes.
So this is first day. Um, of course, it's all swelling. And
Yeah.
then day two on the top right, day three, and then day four. You see how fast it healed? And I want to show you day five. Day five, this picture that you're looking at right now was on Zoom, live on Facebook with Jane and Shar. Jane and Shar was doing their regular weekly Friday night Zoom.
Uh-huh.
So they invited me to be on the call. Number one is to document the time frame when I had my accident and how I looked. And I think everyone was surprised to see my before and then 5 days later picture.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So that was on Facebook. And then I want to show you another one to zoom it up. That's my front tooth that is gone.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. Yeah, yeah. All she wants for Christmas is her two front teeth. Well, and so the little mark by your eye, was that a remnant of that was a
Yeah,
scab?
that's just a scab. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, 5 days. Miraculous. And you had obviously more progressive. When you got back to the car, back home or whatever, you were able to patch more appropriately and help with the pain. Wow. That's the beauty of is the pain mitigation, because healing is one thing, but then the pain of that and experiencing it is awful. And if you don't have that kind of relief without taking medication, did you take any have to take any drugs or medications or
No,
anything?
no, no medications at all.
That is
Just
amazing.
patch.
Well, that's an amazing story, Nikki, and am shocked to hear somebody as poised and sophisticated as you are. That you've had so many accidents that you said. But I think a lot of it is, some of us just are prone to things like that more, and why those of us that have the patches and know that we are. I always just say, "Don't worry, I've got a patch. I'll take care of this," and it is kind of funny, but it does work for rapid inflammation reducing and pain
Yeah,
relief. If nothing,
I think. but I think what happened to me is it's funny how accidents happen.
Mhm.
Uh, every time I question the patch or something happened, it usually at that time it just happened to me that I find out how to patch. And then for my accident, I actually turned around and helped I believe 82 years old lady that fell and injured the same in a same with similar accident that I was able to help. So somehow, some way, I think sometimes God just used you as an example, help you through your accident
So you can help
quickly
others.
so that
Yeah.
you can turn around and help other people.
That's
Yeah.
such a good analogy because I've gone through that too. When I went through my health issues in my late 40s, it was really fascinating to come to some conclusions that it wasn't in vain. And now I can turn around and help people because I can relate. And that's what's so great about the patches. The longer we use them, and you've been with the company for a very long time now, as Larry has, y'all know what to do. You've seen enough people, you've patched enough people. David Schmidt even said on Monday that between you and Larry, you've patched thousands of people that you do become it's second nature, and that's the wonderful part of experience and knowing it yourself because you can relate. You definitely can relate because you've had those accidents, and that's what I love most is you, oh yeah, know exactly what to do. It's great. So well, that was a great presentation. I think that everybody who knows you but hasn't really heard the in-depth story will want to hear more about this, and definitely I'll be sharing the recording for anybody who's missed it. I did have quite a few people who missed it tonight, and we're looking forward to hearing your story. So, Nickie, thank you so much. I don't know if you have any closing words. I think we have touched on just about a little bit of everything of how much we love, love, love each other and our family of Lifewave family, and how so honored we are to be in a company like this that is doing so many great things for the world and for people, but bringing us all together in such a way that you can never imagine. I mean, look at us. You're in Southern California. I'm in Northern California. People all over the country we get to communicate with and work with and help. It's really
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Through Lifewave, I met a lot of people, become good friend, become family. Just absolutely love what I do every day, and I'll never quit.
Yep. Yeah. Well, there's always going to be somebody who's going to have an accident, right? Got to be there for them. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Again, I'll get this posted, and anybody that wants to share it, it'll be up on my YouTube channel, Suzanne Roth-Paul Lifewave. Same time. Well, I don't know what we're doing next week, Nickie. I'll talk a little further with you. If it's going to be Wednesdays or Thursdays, I'll let everybody know. But I will be back next Thursday with a new interview of somebody. I'm not sure who yet. But thank you all again for being here, and look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.